It's just a scheduled. Yeah, now we're live.
There we are. Don't mind me. I'm just snacking.
Not a busy day for you or anything, right?
Dude, man, just one of those days, one of those days. Fortunately, I had 2 stories written in the admin. I had 2 stories. I did not have a Senate story because I was told weeks ago that for sure was off the table by somebody I trust. So I had not written the Senate story. But I had BP retires now and Stephen takes over now. And I had BP announces retirement. Stephen will succeed him after the season. Those are my 2. So it was it was a fun day. Good times. I went to basketball practice. Then after practice, I kind of just hung around. I don't know why my camera's too. Sometimes I hang around and shoot. It's my time to get some shots up. And I was shooting a little bit, and Steven had gone to do something and was coming back in.
Sure.
Kind of walked up to me and we said, "What's up?" And he's like, "Not much going on today, huh?" I'm like, "No, man. It's a nothing day for you, man. You just what a routine day for you, man."
Yeah.
Man. We'll let people get in, and we're just going to talk about the news. We'll just kick it around. We'll take questions. So anybody that's got questions, put them in the chat. Zach in the back will add them. I'll look for them. We'll get to as many pertinent questions as we can. On the big day, it's just like, hey, just like that. Bruce Pearl will not coach another basketball game at Auburn.
And to be honest, I think that's exactly how Bruce wanted it. He went out his way. I don't think he's ever been the kind of guy that wanted the celebration tour or anything of that nature. I've never heard him once say, I want a court named after me, anything like that.
Yeah.
He's just, he's an embodiment of what I think a lot of people wish that they were, and the way that he handles certain things, the humbleness with how he carries himself. But man, what a massive career. What a great last 11 years. I'll be honest, man, I'm a little bit honored to be able to sit here with you to talk about it. My role on this podcast platform that we have here, the official title, I think, is fan correspondent. And quite often, I try to be real balanced. I try to make sure that I stay within the realm of being responsible with how you say things or how you portray things. But tonight, I'm fan, man. Like I'm taking off the responsibility role, and I just want to be a fan and talk about my appreciation for Bruce Pearl. I hope there are people in the chat that want to do the same thing. Ask any question that you want. I'm real here to entertain it. And if you guys have questions about Stephen, I think those are questions that Justin can answer better. I don't know Stephen. I know he's very shrewd, very smart, very good basketball coach. How he's going to be as an administrator or as a head basketball coach, I don't know. It's to be determined. But my guess is the apple doesn't fall far from the tree there, and that Auburn is going to be in good hands. But looks like we got our first question of the night.
Yeah, Sam, how did the players respond in practice today? Pretty good. I thought vibes were decent. I think they probably gave them. I think the coaches, I say in Stephen, I think they gave them a little bit of leeway, understanding that the way they found out was not cool and was not the plan. They were trying to get the players together and to tell them the news before this broke. They actually were kicking around doing this yesterday. Then they were going to try to do it this morning. But they wanted to tell the players. They wanted to get them together and tell the players, and they couldn't. And then it got leaked. Whether that's Pete Thamel, Borzella, whoever leaked to them really screwed those kids over.
Yeah.
It leaked, and then of course, once it's out, we have a responsibility. So once it was out, I was in the car. on my phone in our admin, hitting publish. Just a disaster, just like crazy. But yeah, so they were so BP, by the way, came in and talked to the team after the news broke and all that. BP came to the arena. It was at the arena. Talked to the team before they practiced, so they got a full conversation in. I was told that it was emotional, and then they went and practiced. It was a pretty good practice, but I would say there's probably maybe a little bit of a hangover type thing going on, but kind of a little bit of a leeway from the coaches on certainly on this first day. But pretty good practice. I've seen better, but it's the first day. I mean, whatever. They've had a really good last few weeks, by the way. What's Bill say? How much has Steven been in the recruiting mix along with Bruce? I'd imagine he's been a part of it. Yeah.
Big.
Yeah.
That part I can't speak to. Massive part.
Ira. Toss Ira in there too.
Yes, definitely Ira. And I think where Steven is highly involved, I think transfer portal recruiting, a lot of scouting, a lot of evaluation from his end. I think Ira obviously does that as well, but he's just a phenomenal connector and recruiter as far as how he connects with families and kids and the relationships that he's able to cultivate. But no, I think Steven's been very much at the top of the pyramid as far as Auburn's recruiting efforts these last several years, and I don't expect to drop off from that. And I know people are going to probably be a little bit worried about where they're going to be from a talent acquisition standpoint, and I would tell you that what they've been able to accomplish at Auburn, that brand's going to hold. And if the player compensation piece, which is the biggest part of this now, right? If the player compensation piece is there, Auburn will still be able to recruit top-end talent to come and play here on the Plains, no doubt.
Yeah. And in the last year or two, I think you mentioned it, Steven sort of headed up the portal efforts. But they know how to, he's a good evaluator. Burgo's a great evaluator. Ira's good and a really good recruiter. The whole apparatus, doesn't change. Ira's been there. Burgo's been there. Ian Borders. You bring Matt Gatens in, who was a GA years and years ago, but understands the culture, knows Steven. Which, by the way, I would anticipate Gatens probably not going to announce anything, but I would anticipate Matt Gatens expands his role a little bit. He's the GM who they brought on as the general manager. He's already at practice. He's kind of involved coaching-ish anyway as the GM. I would imagine now that Steven elevates, I'm not sure who the associate head coach will be, if there will be one. But I would think now with sort of an open assistant spot, my guess is that Gatens takes on more. And so anyway, so all that I think will be pretty seamless. There's just a bunch of people there that have been there for years. Austin says, what does special assistant to the AD mean? Not being facetious, just seeing if we know. It means what you think it means, which is it can mean whatever you want it to mean. It's just a role. He's an ambassador. I mentioned this. I don't know. This has been the plan for a while, that when BP stepped down, that the goal was, I know from having conversations with Bruce, he wanted to be an ambassador. He wanted to stay involved. And so, and I'll just say, Steven being the head coach helps make that possible, I would say.
Yes.
If this were a situation where they would have said, hey, love you, Bruce, thanks for doing what you did for Auburn, but we're gonna just kind of scrap it and go look for my own guy, BP would have been like, sounds good, but don't count on me being ambassador to Auburn in that situation. So we don't have to cross that bridge. So it just means he'll do anything and everything. Obviously he'll still be around the program, but he's going to let Steven run it. Could be anything, man. He could help run NIL funds. He's always been involved anyway. What other sports or other school events, he's just such a great salesman, and he loves Auburn, man. His whole family moved here. So I would just sort of treat it like it's going to kind of be anything that John Cohen or Chris Roberts, the president, or Bruce Pearl want it to be. The point is you still have BP around as a uplifting the university, the school, and the program and all that.
Yeah, I would equate it on the football side to being very similar to how Pat Dye was kind of utilized at times. Probably, Pat had to step away there for a little bit due to everything that happened when he stepped down. But I don't think Bruce will have that drop off. He probably will disappear for a little bit just to create some space for Steven. And then you'll see him start to assert himself in that role where you'll see him pop up at football games and softball games and go out to the College World Series. And
going to be in College Station.
Yeah, going to be in College Station, right? Like cheering on it, helping out there. Because, and this is what I will say, what makes Bruce more unique than any coach that I've ever watched or covered or anything of that nature. The fan engagement part, he understands better than anyone. I mean, in a way to get fans to attend games. And yes, his name created buzz when he came, but I want to set the stage here. You know what I mean? For what he walked into. Two coaches before Bruce were Jeff Lebo and Tony Barbee. Jeff Lebo had a 96-93 overall record, 35-61 in the SEC. Tony, hell of a golfer, by the way, was 49-75 with an 18-50 SEC and the absolute low watermark all time for Auburn basketball coaches. So Bruce inherited a team that went a combined 145-163 total and 53-111 in the conference. And this was before the who's who of coaches got into the SEC. The SEC Bruce started in that now has Rick Barnes with John Calipari and multiple other big name coaches that have made names for some of them that were, young guys that have made names for themselves, and others that are guys that are just, guys that are going to go into the Hall of Fame. And Bruce is one of those.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
In turn, Bruce then goes at Auburn 244-123 overall, 112-83 in the SEC, 3 regular season championships, 2 conference tournament championships, and 2 Final Fours, the only Final Fours of Auburn's history. And through all of that, he was able to engage and get fans in the stands in a way that I had never seen. I mean, he has the ability to create connection where other coaches don't. And he's very sincere in how he approaches it, who he is as an individual. And I just think that part will never be matched by any other coach at Auburn. I don't know that anybody else has that ability to connect in the way that he does. And I think in his role as a special assistant, he will be a huge, huge aid to John Cohen if he'll use him in that way.
Yeah. His legacy is it'll be incredible. I don't know, put his name on the court, build him a statue. He probably doesn't care about that stuff. He cares about history, but he's not going to care about that stuff. It'll mean a lot to him. But yeah, I mean, I wrote in the story like I had written, but I wrote, his charisma, his openness, and relentless energy resonated with students and alumni and created a bond that felt more like family than formality. And his passion extended beyond basketball, embracing culture, engaging the community in a way that we've never seen. And I'll say he's going to not just be involved with the university, he's going to be involved with the city. In a big way too. So if you live in Auburn, if you love Auburn, because look, he did toy with the Senate run. He was very serious about that. And even though I was told weeks ago that wasn't going to happen, I was still getting texts in the last days about maybe that he might, but nothing concrete. I was told by somebody weeks ago that I trusted that he was not going to do it. But he very much thought about it, wants to be involved. So what you might see is I think he'll still want to be involved in Auburn. He still lives in Auburn. And so he'll still want to be involved around the city in the ways that he can, whether it's politics or just community or whatever it might be. All right, Jet, what's this? I know it's early, but how do you feel about keeping the roster together? Yeah, so I haven't addressed this yet because I just am still gathering sort of intel. Um, I feel my gut is I feel pretty good. I wouldn't say no problem, no issues, everybody's locked and loaded. I wouldn't say that, but I'm also not saying they're going to lose anybody. I mean, it's still afternoon of or night of. I know the players were caught off guard. I know that there are some guys that were surprised and kind of hurt a little bit on sort of maybe finding out through the media. Not really mad. Love to have found out in a more proper way, and it's not really anybody's fault. It just it happened, and so anyway, I think there's still some processing going on, but I feel pretty good about everybody. But I would say let's give it a couple of days maybe and let some conversations happen in all that. But like my gut is that they don't lose anybody. That's always been my feeling, even if this happened in June or July or whenever. But it'd be tough. I mean, you're talking about the season starts in 6 weeks.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you'd have to be really, really hurt and mad. And I mean, to leave right now, I don't even know if you could go play for a team in 6 weeks. I'm not even sure classes have started. I don't even know if a guy could just go play in November in the middle of a semester. I don't even know some of those rules, but.
Yeah, I mean, it would probably be contingent upon. I know there are certain schools like Big East schools that haven't started just yet. They're just now starting. There's an ability to drop ads still, contingent on the university. But I'm with you, Justin. I mean, you're talking about guys that moved here in summer, have been here, going through summer workouts, initial install periods, things like that to get themselves ready for the season, and then just to pick up and move right now. To me, you're right. It would have to be a very emotional decision. And this is raw, right? Like, I wouldn't expect it to be smooth at this point.
Oh.
I mean, there's too much of a human side of this for it to be very smooth. But I'm with you that cooler heads will likely prevail after some organic conversations happen where you get an opportunity to speak to Steven about what your role is going to be, what it's going to be like on the team. I mean, I think there are questions that these kids, and we forget that some of them are 18, 19 years old.
Yeah.
I'm 43, and I think this would be a shock for me, much less if I were 18 or 19, and still finding my way as who I am as a man. So that's a lot to take, and to be able to say, no, I'm in. I'm all the way in, guys. No problems for me. I'm ready to go. Right.
Well, and I've talked to a few, and some stuff, some comments like, today hurt.
Yeah.
And it's not easy. So, some of that stuff. So don't think they're going anywhere, but they came to play for BP. Steve, of course they like Steve. Of course they like Virgo, or of course they like Ira. But BP's the head coach, and they came to play for BP, the guy that's been to 2 Final Fours and all that. And so give it a few days, and I'll be able to address that more. But like my gut is that they'll be fine. That nobody's going to leave. By the way, I've got a roster. Funny time. I mean, I was already planning on this, but I got a roster insider coming tomorrow.
Ooh.
So let's hope that the roster I'm talking about is still intact in a week. I don't want to hold it now. I mean, practice is going on, and so I've got some thoughts on everybody that I'm going to put up. And we'll see if it's relevant in a week. I don't know.
Give us one tasty morsel. Like just one nugget to tease the masses here, Justin.
I don't even know a good one because I got to write it. I have to go back through.
Okay.
But I got some thoughts on every player. I will say, I don't know. The thing that comes to mind, probably one would be If I asked you who the X factor is of this team, who would you pick? I asked around kind of the X factor in terms of what takes this team from okay to pretty good.
Maybe Elijah Freeman.
Look at you.
You
Look at you.
get lucky every now and again.
That was the answer.
He's got a unique skill set, man. I mean, he really does. And a guy that I think NBA ceiling all the way, first round NBA ceiling.
Yeah, and he's getting better. So like, I'll have some thoughts on him, but he's thought he looked kind of just tentative when he first got here. It's kind of trying to figure things out. And he's looked a little more comfortable. And like if they played tomorrow, I think he starts. So yeah, he's getting there. His ceiling is just there. He's just going to get better and better. But yeah, we'll have that tomorrow. Who will fill Steven's spot on the staff? Marquise Daniels. We talked about this a few minutes ago. I think Matt Gatens would make a lot of sense to just take over some more of those roles. I think he'll be the GM, but then Matt Gatens can also be a bench coach, and he's at practice. So that's probably what I would anticipate is Matt Gatens just sort of sliding in and taking some of those roles. I mean, you'll have, what'll be interesting is if Steven was obviously heavily involved in scouting for games. So was Burgos, so was Ira. I'm wondering if Steven keeps that role or delegates that off, or if he continues to just, hey, every 3 games I'm the scout. That's how they would generally do it. It's like, right. Hey, I've got this scout. You're scouting a game that's, the week they're about to play a Tuesday, but I'm already scouting a weekend game, and so I'm already looking ahead, and somebody else is scouting. But I'm curious about that. If he does he just sort of continue on to scout a game, or because that's really where it comes in. Like that's the stuff. It's not really during practice. It's not really then. It's the pre-scouting stuff that happens 6-7 days in advance. That is where you would need that person, like whoever it's going to be, Matt Gatens, or if Steven just keeps doing it, then it can just sort of stay how it was, and he's the head coach, but can also scout. I don't know.
Yeah, and Gatens makes a lot of sense to me. I mean, you're talking about a guy that was, I think, he was a bench coach at Iowa as well as at Drake. So a lot of experience for him as far as being an assistant at the Power 4 level, with big-time basketball schools. I mean, Drake is obviously, held their own in that conference that they play in. I think they're Missouri Valley, if I remember correctly. But and I may be wrong on that. He may have just been at Iowa. But again, a guy that's played at Iowa, worked in that system underneath Bruce as a GA, was back at Iowa. I think he was at a smaller school as well. And Drake, again, I may be wrong, but that makes a ton of sense to me. And then you can figure out somebody to come in that GM role. If you really need somebody to help you with player acquisition and scouting the portal and things like that, I think you can find somebody to help do that for you.
Yeah. Taylor asked, do you anticipate the money difference in what we would have been paying Bruce versus what we will pay Steven will be circled back in a way to keep us competitive in roster spending? Let's see. Bruce is making about $6 million. I don't know what Steven's going to make. It's a 5-year deal.
Yeah.
Which is also another conversation I had a couple of months ago. Was I asked BP, I said, hey, if this thing plays out, do you think Steven gets the job clean and clear, or do you think they slap an interim tag on him? And he said they're making the head coach. No interim tag. Like he felt really good about, Cohen had made some promises and Cohen came through. I don't know about the money difference. I mean, I don't even know what Steven will make. If it's a 5-year deal, I'd be guessing. I don't know where Steven's going to end up his first year making it. I would guess between 2.5 and 3. It would be my guess.
Yeah, that was what I was thinking would be ballpark.
Yeah. So, and I don't know. I mean, but here's the thing. So like we're talking about salary. Well, that's coming from the university. So we're not talking about NIL. We're talking about rev share. I don't really know if they give him less, does that mean they've got a little bit more for rev share? There's a cap on rev share, like, and they're, so it is what it is. Like, the way to do it is you've got to have offsets. You've got to go crazy in NIL and get the guys to have the offset in their clause, so you don't have to pull out of rev share. Like that's how you essentially grow your rev share, is just keep getting NIL. So I don't have to it's just like savings, right? Or it's like,
Yes.
You know, whatever, like don't spend, your savings will go up. Like the more you do in NIL, the more you don't have to touch, you know, that emergency fund and the rev share, you know, that kind of thing. So.
Yeah, no, that to me was the most interesting part. And I still haven't found this out. And you probably know better than I do, or know who to talk to, but how much of Nike is going to be willing to do individual endorsement deals with some Auburn basketball players? How much will that be there with this new shoe deal that they signed with the university? I don't know. I know Adidas is doing some unique things there within that realm, but I'll be interested to see what NIL opportunities Auburn's able to generate. And that goes for all sports, right? Like how creative they can get on that front, to me, will determine how competitive Auburn is in every sport moving forward, because rev share is just not going to be enough. Athletes are used to being compensated at a certain rate.
Mm-hmm.
I think they're going to probably move backwards some, but how far backwards? And I think the team that figures out, how to navigate that landscape and how to generate NIL for their clients or for their student athletes is going to be the university that's going to win championships.
Yeah, it'll be interesting. I mean, that goes into, like, I understand people have reservations about Steven, never been a head coach. I get it. I'm good with what's going on. Like, I think that Steven understanding completely the culture, where Auburn basketball was, where it is, what it took to get it here, having the relationship he has with the boosters, with the NIL people, with the administration. Like, I think that matters. And so, you know, I think it matters. And yes, Bruce wanted him. Absolutely. He's been banging this drum for years behind the scenes. Okay. He has been banging the drum for years, wanting to make sure that Steven had his opportunity. Personally, I think that's I think it's part of why Bruce is stepping away now. I think Bruce could have coached another year, but I think part of it is he's looking at it going, it's a pretty good roster. All the staff is there that's been there. If I'm going to leave this to Steven, you know, if I leave it to him now, he's got a really good team year one, and he's got something to build on. And if you're BP and you're going, I'm only going to coach for maybe, what if BP's sitting here thinking, this is my last year? Well, if it's your last year, you know, who knows what the roster looks like next year. I just think it played a part in going, I want to set Steven up the best I can. I want them to succeed past me. And they got a really good team right now. And if I coach this year, who knows what the roster looks like next year. And I get it. People might go, well, what about the players? Like, they wanted to play for you this year. Man, I hear you, but, like, you have to it's your life, and it's Bruce Pearl's life. And if he felt like, you know, I'm just not quite 100% there, then I think it's a right decision. He's a grinder. I told somebody earlier, he is a grinder. And if he is not ready to give it 100%, then he's not the BP that he needs to be and that you would want him to be either. And I think he knows that. And so I think there's a lot of things that went into him deciding now. I think he wanted to give it as much time as he could. I really don't think the timeline is just really, he wanted to run up basically until practice started, because I really don't think he knew. I mean, I was at practice last week. He was there. He's coaching. I think it took him a while to figure out, do I still have it, or do I, you know, the passion or not? I know that that's part of the reason he stepped away a little bit more this summer. Stephen Pearl and Mike Burgomaster ran a bunch of practices. Steven ran a bunch of practices, more than normal. And I know that part of the reason that happened is because BP wanted to step away a little bit more and see how it feels. He wanted to go can I live without this? Am I good stepping away? And so he took a little bit more time off. And he would recruit, he would do his job, but he took a little bit more time away from practice and let them run it. One, it was good practice for them. It was good for them to run it, but he just wanted to be like, when I'm out, when I'm away, am I like, no way, I've got to get back in there. I am not ready to quit. Or was he like, I'm okay. If this is it, I'm okay. I think he had to figure that out for himself and came to that conclusion. And at the same time, that means that all these new players outside of Tahad, all these new guys, they've already gone through a ton of practices run by Stephen Pearl.
Right.
Bunch of them, and without BP there, and Burgo some too. So it's not like they stepped into practice today and were like, well, this is weird. It was totally normal. It's like a ton that they've already had over the last 3, 4, 5 months.
No, I mean, I think you're speaking a lot of truth here. To be as consistent a coach as Bruce has been I don't think people really realize how many hours they sink into that job. And at 65 years of age, you're coming off your second Final Four. Yes, you're setting your son up for success. But I think part of it is also knowing when to walk away too. Yeah. And I think preserving legacy. And I don't know that was the overarching feeling that he had or that he maybe thought about. But for me, I'm looking at it and I will always remember Bruce Pearl on that Final Four run, right? Like the first one for me will always be the sweetest, but this last one, it was Auburn Sports playing up to its expectation in a way that I had not experienced. Mm-hmm. And I was grateful to get to witness that, man. As far as Stephen goes, if you're looking for test cases, as far as people picking their successor, I mean, I don't think you have to look much further than the Final Four this past year and watch John Shire walking up and down the sideline there, who was handpicked by Mike Krzyzewski to do exactly what Stephen is going to do here at Auburn, which is take over a program. Yes, make it your own. Culturally, it has to fit you. You have to be authentic as who you are as a coach and coach it your way. But everything's already set.
Yeah.
Now, that can go the other direction. You could also point to another test case. Roy Williams walks away at North Carolina and things have not been the same underneath Hubert Davis. But I would say that has more to do with their ability to acquire the kind of talent North Carolina is accustomed to acquiring and less about Hubert Davis as a basketball coach. Yeah. So those are two different test cases of guys handpicking their successor. And this is not unique. I think Kelvin Sampson's doing the same thing with his son. Yeah. So Stephen is somebody that, and Justin, I want you to talk more about this. There have been teams that have been interested in him and jobs that he's been connected to in the past. And then you would hear a little buzz and then it would die down immediately. And I think it was always because this was the long-term thought by people in the athletic department as well as Bruce that Stephen would be the rightful successor because of what he had shown behind the scenes. This is not like he's getting this because of his name. Stephen has grinded. Like when I asked around about this, Stephen has been there every step of the way, and he's earned his way from I think he started in strength and conditioning, or it's just basically the guy that was helping run practices. I mean, he didn't even have a formal title at first, I don't think. And then eventually moved into director of basketball operations when Todd Golden moved onto the bench, right? I think that was the progression for him. And then Stephen moved onto the staff full-time in a coaching capacity. So a guy that's been there from the very beginning, worked his way from the bottom up, knows every inch of this program, has been involved in the talent acquisition efforts, has been involved in the various schemes that they've employed, the system that they run, the culture within the building. His hand has been involved in all of that. So while you don't have a data point for what he is as a head coach beyond one game, I think you should feel comfortable in the fact that he's going to be working with coaches that he's cultivated a relationship with for years and players that he helped handpick this offseason.
Yeah, I would agree. I think it's one of those situations where he's hurt a little bit because he's the son.
Yeah.
I think people are immediately like, oh, of course. And the reality is he's been there for, the whole step of the way, like you said. Imagine, the greatest football coach in the history of Auburn football for a decade and there's his defensive coordinator was there, or there's a guy that was with him every single step of the way, rose and was his defensive coordinator for the last 5-6 years and did a great job. And they went to, a national championship game, whatever. And then it got turned over to him. You'd be like, I mean, and he's a young, charismatic person. Like, I don't think anybody would bat an eye if that happened in football.
Right.
You'd be like, oh, it makes total sense. He knows the program. He's been affiliated with that guy the whole time. So I think it just makes sense. I think it makes a lot of sense. I don't know how it's going to turn out.
No.
I mean, nobody does. I mean, I'm curious to see how it turns out. I think that his knowledge of him and Burgo, first of all, are a great pairing. That's offense and defense. So those two guys, there's a lot of knowledge there. You'll know more. You got to get into like his first hire, like what if Ira in a year decides it's time to move on? Okay. Now Steven's got to make his first hire, his assistant coaching hire. What does that look like?
Right.
What's the first recruiting class look like? Like there's stuff that we'll have to kind of wait and see, but I do like that. I don't know. There's a lot, man. Auburn basketball, I think the other thing from a fan perspective is, Bruce built this program. I mean, Auburn has been highly successful the last handful of years, but I don't know how to say this, man. I mean, I know we joke about the blue blood thing. Like,
sure.
We'll see. Well, we're about to find out.
Yes.
Because Bruce is a one-man wrecking crew. I mean, he lifted the whole dang thing with his charisma and his ability to get butts in seats and his ability to get players to believe and fans to believe. And now we'll see. Now we'll see if all the fans. Do you love Auburn basketball? Did you love Bruce? Did you love chanting Bruce? Or do you love Auburn basketball now? Like you're in it now. Like if Auburn goes 500 next year, not like next year, are you going to be there? Are you going to be in the seats? Are you there? Are you now Bruce isn't here anymore? We're kind of okay. It's not really the thing to do anymore, so I'm not going to show up. Like right. I'm curious, and like I sort of challenge the fans in that way because this is when you show if you actually become a basketball school, or if you've just sort of been riding the coattails of Bruce and you've been letting him drag you along and get excited, and then he leaves, and then now you're like, oh well, the first sign of maybe things don't go great. Do you bail, or do you show up and you support Steven, and you're there in the environment and you're supporting him the way you would Bruce? I've thought about that for years, and we're about to find out. But I guess I'll say all that to say Steven gets all of that. He knows what it was when they got here. He knows what it is now. He knows the landscape. Like he knows that despite all the success, like they're going to lose recruits to other programs. They're not going to beat some schools for elite kids. Like they're not, despite all the success. If some kid's going to go to Kentucky over Auburn, it's going to go to Arkansas over Auburn. Like he gets all that. He understands the NIL the sort of the revenue sharing, and they're not going to get as much as some other schools right now. And so I don't know. Like in that regard, he gets all that. I think he understands how hard he's going to have to work and what it's going to take, and all that good stuff. Does that make sense?
It makes a ton of sense. It makes sense that he understands the challenge that's in front of him in not only taking over a program that has had the level of success that Auburn has, but sustaining it in a way that he creates his own identity out from underneath his father, who we just talked about what an icon he is at Auburn. Mm-hmm. And that's an extremely tough position to find yourself in. But I think Steven is his own man, and I'm going to be interested to see how he takes on that challenge, because I'm with you. The fan base piece is interesting. I think there are a lot of people that say they are basketball fans, and we're going to find out. Are they front runners? Because it was Bruce, and I hate using that term, but that's what it is, right? Mm-hmm. Or are they going to be there for the long haul? Now, the good thing for them is I don't think it's going to be 500. I think this is a good basketball roster. That
Well,
they've
I
got.
meant like next year. Yes, not
Yeah.
this year. Like if they have a good year this year and in the next year, like 26, 27, if they
Right. And there's that possibility because it all comes down to roster construction.
Yeah.
So that'll be interesting if he ever has a dip, right? That's going to be fun to watch. But I do think fans will be engaged this year because the team is going to be good. And I don't think you're going to have to worry about that challenge this season.
Yeah. By the way, all right, we'll get this leave the Hayden question up. I saw one comment. Somebody brought up the
look at the last post of Hayden Harris
in the same room.
Yeah, we have not. Well, actually, we have been in the same room, and Steven is literally about a whole foot taller than me. So yeah, I might be his mini me. That would be the closest I could get.
Somebody asked about the exhibition schedule, and it's a decent little point. Kind of works out. I mean, Steven will get a chance to coach in two of these games, Oklahoma State, which is in Birmingham, and Memphis and Atlanta. Like, I can't believe these games are in like 3 weeks. What? Oklahoma State is in, I think, that's crazy that there's a basketball exhibition game in like 3 weeks. But yeah, good point. Not a bad thing at all. I mean, certainly it gives you 2 chances in an exhibition game against pretty good teams to go coach. Yeah, that's not a bad thing how that worked out at all. So so you're not like just immediately jumping into the craziness of the non-conference and all that. And those are interesting games. Like, you go into them, you want to win, but exhibition games do they want to win? Yes. But are they going to play to hot 35 minutes to do it? No. So it's like that. It's competitive. It's win, but I'm going to play my guys, and it's like a pitch count for a pitcher. Like I'm pitching you, but you're getting 3 innings. That's it. That's all you're getting. I don't care what's happening. So those will be good. Man, I will say it. I think fans are. I don't know, man. I hope fans appreciated when it was going on. The Bruce. It feels like it flew by. Like 11 years, we're done.
It does, doesn't it?
Like, whoa. But I hope fans. And I tried to push this message, especially the last few years, because I knew this time was coming. I was like, he's not going to coach his contract out. And I tried to tell people, like, balance like your frustration and criticism with a loss, but keep it in perspective. I mean, some of the reactions to some losses was like, Bruce doesn't have it anymore. Like, it lost a game, man. Like, relax. It was just, I hope you appreciated how freaking good the program was and is, by the way. Doesn't have to go anywhere. Let's not talk about it like it's dead. But just the job he did. I mean, the guy was like, when he said relentless in his video, that's him.
Yeah.
It's just like, he is a relentless, like, he's coaching in practice. He's relentless, studies film, the way he coaches in games. It's just he just grinds, man. Like, that will be something that'll be interesting to watch for me, is how the team takes on the persona of Steven.
Yes.
Because how they took on the persona of Bruce was you're getting damn near max effort. Like, you're getting a team that's going to play hard. Not going to win. Doesn't always work out. But, like, they're in it, and they're going to play their butts off. And I think you'll get that with Steven too, because he's not going to accept anything less. If we're just talking about coaching personalities, like Steven, he doesn't let much slide. BP would let some stuff slide. He was really good about knowing what to kind of let go, and then knowing when to step forward and go, all right, enough. Like, BP was a pretty good gauge of that. Steven's more like, no, nothing slide. Like, I'm nothing slide. Like, nothing. I mean, he like effort or not doing the right thing or whatever. Like, his attention to detail is high, and his expectations are high. And he's going to let you know, like, he's a stickler for that stuff. And it's going to piss him off. If you just go look at his quotes after the first round of the NCAA tournament game, like,
yeah,
go look at his quotes, and Dylan too. But a part of that run was him stepping up and lighting a fire, and Stephen getting on the radio and straight up calling people out. That's Stephen. Bruce isn't necessarily. Bruce is going to be a little more political. Stephen is going to do stuff like that. Yeah.
And it'll be fun to watch. And I think you talked about people's reaction sometimes to losses, and that just speaks to the passion of the Auburn fan base. I think this is a fan base that's been starved for a winner, and Bruce was able to deliver. I mean, you're talking about the last 4 years have easily in my lifetime been the low water mark for football. And it felt like in that time that Bruce was able to fill that space, right? And developed into what Auburn needed, you know what I mean, to show them that they were still Auburn, right? To show that they could still be a winner, to show them that they could still be successful. And he embodied all that. And then you throw in the charisma part of it. And then again, building a program from the ashes with which he founded. And I'm talking about like so much so that you could find basketball tickets in the trash can, dude. Like during the Tony Barbie era, and get in with those, or for $10.
Lying about attendance, like
yes,
just straight up. There might have been. I covered some Barbie games where you're like 2,500, maybe.
Yes, maybe. And that was if you gave free Chick-fil-A sandwiches that night. You know what I mean? Like it.
Yeah.
You had to have some promises in there to get 2,500, and now it's standing room only, paying $200 to stand there. That's what it's come to. And I do think fans appreciate that. I do think they understand that they were involved in what may be the high water mark of Auburn basketball. Or at least I do. And my hope is that Stephen is going to continue this and further it and win the national championship here at Auburn. That's my hope. I don't know that though. You know, and that's the tough part of this because it is bittersweet. I'm excited about what's going to come next for Stephen, but it is a little bit for me as a fan to witness what I've seen over the last 11 years, the highs and the lows of it, and then what he meant to Auburn, especially during this last 4 years. I think that's something as a fan you'll carry forward, and especially the Final Four run this past time. Again, playing up to expectation. When everybody picked you to be in the Final Four, and that was from jump, it's Final Four bust, right? And to see a team live up to that expectation, I didn't think I would ever see that from an Auburn team because Auburn teams typically in my lifetime, count them out, they play fantastic. Put expectation on them, whoa, buddy. You know what I mean? Like it usually goes rough during the season.
Somebody asked if Zach said somebody asked about a statue or naming it Pearl Arena. Well, probably not going to change the name. Neville's paid a pretty penny for that, but
no,
sure, I'm for anything. I mean, Bruce Pearl deserves whatever you want to do, whatever you want to do. Name the court would be that's a no brainer to me. Like it's a no brainer. You put his signature on the court. I mean, tomorrow, put it on the court. I mean, seriously. Like I may even ask somebody that and be like, what are we doing? Why would you not? Unless literally Bruce said don't do it. I'd be out there painting it on tonight.
I'm with you. And Bruce may not want to do that just yet. In fairness to Stephen, he may want to let Stephen kind of stamp his legitimacy some before he does that. So I would understand that move. Statue for sure, but again. That's the interesting thing to me about Bruce is he just doesn't seem like he's overly interested in that kind of praise, right? Like I think what he craves more than anything, and I think he's going to have an opportunity to do this at Auburn for a long time, but I think he likes the challenge of making a difference in people's lives. I think that really is kind of his calling. And I think that's the attractive part of politics, if I'm being honest, for him, is having that sphere of influence and being able to do more with what he's been able to create for himself and help other people. And as he goes through this challenge of, transitioning into an ambassador for Auburn, I think there's a whole world that's going to open up for him as far as what he can do for Auburn and what he can do for the students of Auburn University.
Yes, for sure. For for sure he cares about history, and he cares about legacy. And I think certainly over the last handful of years, you see more of that. I mean, we're not going to talk about his politics, but when you've seen sort of an uptick in his tweeting or posting about that stuff, that's because as he's gotten older and he's gotten towards the end of his career, he's realized that the other stuff to him, the other stuff matters more. Like his Jewish heritage and faith matters more. And he's obviously has his political views. That stuff matters to him a lot. And so you've seen sort of that uptick in tweeting and stuff because it's just like, this is kind of what matters. And so I think it sort of happened at the same time where that's kind of ticked up, and then he gets closer to his, to the end of his coaching career. It's why he's going to be involved in the city. He'll be an ambassador. But like I said, I expect him to be involved in the city, whatever that looks like. I mean, in terms of whether that's politics, whether that's whatever kind of community engagement, maybe it's helping bring businesses to Auburn. I mean, that stuff is going to matter, and he's going to be involved in that type of stuff too. Like he'll not just be an ambassador to the university. I would think he's going to continue to be an ambassador for the city of Auburn and do things to help it grow and things like that. And so true or false? Somebody said true or false. Steven takes Auburn to an Elite Eight or better in his time as a head coach. Wow. I mean, we are hours into this. We're like, what are we going to do?
Yeah. Let's see game one, and we'll see how it goes. But I mean,
he's 1-0.
Yeah, that's true.
Auburn hired a coach who's undefeated. I don't really even understand why people are upset. Like the guy's undefeated. What
more could you ask, right? What more could you ask?
I would too early. I mean, well, the easiest way to answer that is just, I mean, they got a pretty good team this year.
Yes.
I don't know. Who knows what? I mean, it's going to be about reaching that stuff. If you don't, like last year's Auburn team was really, really good. So it's kind of like, we'll see what the draw is, but they're definitely good enough to reach the Final Four. This team, as it stands now, you'd probably want to see what the draw is before you made Elite Eight predictions. I would say, like, as it stands now, I would probably pick Auburn to finish in the league no higher than fourth.
Yeah.
4 to 6 is where I'd pick them. Which is not bad at all. They could be. I mean, it's just not going to be like last year. I mean, if you ask me right now, I'd probably go to Indianapolis and lose. They probably lose to Houston, although it's in Birmingham and there'll be a lot of Auburn fans, and that'll be a battle. Go to Arizona, maybe. I mean, who knows what happens in Las Vegas? I mean, just some of those are going to be losses, and they're probably going to, I would guess, for like Florida, Kentucky, Arkansas. That's your top three. Somebody could pop in there, but that's who I would bet to be in the top three. Then it's Tennessee, Alabama, and Auburn.
Given what they put into those rosters, they better be the top three.
Yeah, they're pretty loaded, and they're pretty loaded.
But I mean, I think you're right. And if you're looking for a comp as far as last year goes, I mean, I think Matt Painter at Purdue probably, from a talent standpoint, comparable to what Auburn's bringing back. And you were talking about a team, I think, coming off of a Final Four run, having to figure itself out. It's a very different team. And I think this is a very different team from last year's team, right? Like, this is a team that's going to get up and down in transition. They're going to be able to shoot it, I think, at a little bit higher clip. I'm really interested to see the move that Tahad makes as a, bona fide point guard. It's his team, right? He's running the team. So
yeah,
they will probably go as far as he takes them, but you've got other pieces around it, very intriguing pieces. We talked about Elijah Freeman. You've got the kid from UCF that's got all the talent in the world. I mean, he really is a mismatch nightmare for people. It's going to be interesting, man. Like, I think this is going to be a good team. I would say right now, round of 32, Sweet 16-ish type talent, with the chance contingent on the draw of getting further than that, right?
Yeah, it's probably about where they are at the moment. Yeah, they can shoot. They can shoot. Just got to get better. Got to get better defensively. Just that'll be interesting. I mean, they're just not. Denver was like a big physical defender, and
Yeah.
you had some of that. Now it's, I don't know. I like KO's. Kevin Overton's a pretty physical guy, but a little bit athletic. But I just defensively, we'll see. We'll see. You don't have Janai down there. You don't have Denver guard. Chad's length. I mean, they could really do some things defending. This is, I don't know. We'll see. A lot of these guys are going to they're going to be thrown into the fire. Caden Magwood's going to be thrown into the fire. Sebastian Williams-Adams is going to be thrown into the fire. Abdul Bashir, Elijah Freeman, Filip Jovic thrown into the fire. And we'll just kind of see how they react and how quickly they pick things up. You really only have Tahad, Kevin Overton, Murph, and Hall. Like those four, the ones where you're like, I kind of know what I've got. They've played big time ball.
Yeah.
Everybody else at this point, I don't really know until I watch them kind of go through the bumps and bruises. They can shoot, man. Tahad can shoot. Abdul Bashir can shoot. He's just a little skinny. Yeah. So I don't know what it looked like on defense, but Abdul Bashir can shoot. I'm talking Bryce Brown shoot.
Woo.
Abdul Bashir can shoot now.
Okay.
He's just not going to start probably. So what does it look like? Come off the bench? What how does it sort of work? How does he get his shots? But when he gets on, he was in a practice last, I think it was last Thursday. I'm going to write about it, so I'll say it. I mean, I think he went 5 for 7 from 3 in scrimmage. So he when he gets on, he can get on. But like Kevin Overton can shoot. Keyshawn Hall can shoot. That's kind of your main ones. I mean, Freeman's got it. But like even Murph's not even a terrible shot, but he's not going to live out there. But yeah, Caden Magwood can obviously shoot. He just we'll have to see, man. When people watch him, he has to jump. It's really interesting watching him. He jumps really high. Like he gets way off the ground and releases it at like the apex. But it's an interesting way he shoots. But it's I don't know. It'll be interesting to see how he sort of creates his own shot and whatever. But he could shoot too. So yeah, they got some. What's this question? Gyro says, is Murph not with the team right now? What's he say? Notice he's the only player that doesn't have a photo on the team page. What? Really? I don't have no clue why he doesn't have a photo. I mean, he's been there. I'm actually going to ask that. Really? He doesn't have that? Is that true?
I have no idea. I haven't looked at the basketball roster.
Yes, he's with the team. So like that, the answer to that's yes, but is there really not a picture? Oh yeah, you're right. It's an AU. Huh. I guess they missed picture day. You got to reschedule picture day.
Yep.
Yeah, he's out there. He's out there. He's out there. He's with the team. What else? What else we need to talk about so we talked to Stephen Pearl. We're going to talk to him Wednesday morning. That's the introductory press conference. And so that'll be good. That'll be good. And I don't know, but we'll see where it goes from there. Oh, all right. Go ahead.
No. I was going to say, give me your realistic expectation of what you think the standard should be for Stephen in season 1.
Oh,
everything he's walking into this year.
That's a tough one because to me, you're trying to figure out kind of what grace do you give him being a first-year head coach?
Yes.
Where well, first, what do we think the team would have been under BP? I mean, I think, like I said, I'm probably not changing. They'd have been 4 to 6 under BP too. I would not have picked Auburn and finished in the top 3 of the league. So I'm still in that 4 to 6 range. That doesn't change. I don't know about total wins and losses. I haven't really studied the schedule to that degree. I would say they're probably off the top of my head. I kind of think they lose to Purdue. I kind of think they lose to Arizona. Houston's a toss-up. I mean, winning one in Vegas would probably be fine. I think they could definitely lose 4 non-conference games. So they're I don't know. I mean, they're going to lose. They're going to lose 10 games. I mean,
Yeah, for
but
sure.
the schedule strength's going to be so strong. But they're going to, I don't know I don't even know what that puts them at. What's that probably put them at 24-10 maybe or something?
That's what I was going to say. I was thinking 20 plus wins, 8 seed or better in the tournament, right? Like I think that's a fair 8 or 9 seed in the tournament.
I would say, well, depends on how they go. I mean, I would think they're deserving of a better seed. The schedule strength is going to be so good.
Mm-hmm.
And we don't even know who the third game in Vegas is going to be, but you're talking about 3: Arizona, Houston, Purdue. If those 3 live up to it, that's top 10.
Oh, for
You've
sure.
got Oregon, you've got Michigan, you've got somebody else in Vegas, NC State. We don't know what they're going to be with Will Wade. Then you're talking about the SEC, like their schedule strength is going to be through the roof. And so even if they went 11-7 in the league,
Mm-hmm.
like with that schedule, I don't know, man. Give them a 6 seed, but so yeah. I mean, that's kind of how I say. Like, my expectations are still got to go. I don't want to go worse than 11-7. I mean, this is good, but you got a pretty good roster, and you got Tahad, who's supposed to be one of the best players. Like I don't want to say anything under than 11-7. Like I don't want to say 10-8 would be acceptable. I'm not sure I'd there. I would say 11-7 would be my floor of like what I think is acceptable for this team. And then seeding wise, not sure based on the schedule. I'd hate to see them fall lower than a 6. And if they win a fair amount of games with that schedule, they probably shouldn't be lower than a 6. Like if you play those games non-conference, and then you're playing Bama, Tennessee, Florida, Kentucky, da 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 da.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, so I don't know. I'm kind of in that.
No, I hear you. Let me read you a line real quick. 24-12, 10-8 in the conference, Sweet 16. Whose schedule am I giving? Whose line am I giving you from last year?
Oh, from last year? 24-12, and they went 10-8?
Yep.
No, it's the Sweet 16. I don't know. I'm sure you're Mississippi State?
Close. That would be one Chris Beard, who has
yes.
coached in a national championship. So to me, if Steven is that line or better, that's a fantastic baseline for kind of how to compare himself. And I'm not saying that Auburn and Ole Miss should be compared or should be comparable programs, but Chris Beard's a hell of a coach. And as tough as the SEC is, I think if Steven is better than that, that's a really successful first year, in my opinion.
Yeah. I mean, the tournament that'd be bigger. If you go 10-8, I think that'd be acceptable. 24-12, 10-8, Sweet 16. That would be first year. That'd be acceptable.
Yes.
SEC is pretty good. I just 10-8. I think they're better than that, but
I mean, I'm with you. I agree. I think they're better, but I also, again, how much is he figuring out on the fly as a first year head coach? I mean, there's a lot of factors that go into that, right?
For sure, and he's going to have to deal with that. Like we'll ask him. I mean, we'll see if I don't even know if I'll ask him, but maybe he'll be asked on Wednesday morning or whatever. But I'm about to sneeze. Oh,
bless you, man.
What were we talking about?
We were talking about comparing it to Ole Miss. We got another question up though, if you want to.
So I've seen this also. I don't know. I'll ask about visits. I don't think it'll impact visits that are set up, but we'll see. I mean, the last time Auburn went to visit Caleb Holt, Steven was there, Ira was there,
yeah,
BP was there too. But I'm not sure. I get a great vibe on that at the moment, but on that one. But no, I don't know yet on the visits on Caleb Holt. I would assume he's still coming in. I mean, it's been Alabama, Auburn kind of, so I would assume nothing's changed there on a visit. If anything, he needs to come in more so and have further conversations with Steven about what things might look like. But I don't know. It'll be but you're right. Like, it's fair to if you're an Auburn fan, I do think there'll have to be a little bit of a recalibration of what grace do we show Stephen Pearl, or are we like, no, we're supposed to be good at basketball. I don't care. I don't care if it's your first year. You're the coach, aren't you? Like, I don't know how people will treat him. I'm sure there'll be some fair-mindedness about it, and give him a little bit of grace to go through some bumps and stuff. But we'll see. They got a good team. But talk about the challenge of, like, goes back to what we're talking at the beginning. You got guys September 22nd, they start practice. The first day of practice was one where guys were probably not fully mentally engaged right off the bat. Pretty tough start for Stephen, honestly, where your first day of practice, you're just trying to get the most out of it, because some guys are like, what's going on? Like, am I cool here, or should I look somewhere else, or like, nah, it's probably fine, or you got some of that going on.
Yeah. They probably had, and you're as well sourced as you can possibly be on this. They had a team meeting that was obviously overly emotional. You just lost a coach. And you think about a guy with like Tahad that was here last year that has a real relationship with Bruce. Most of this team is new. But some of these are guys he's recruited, so they've known him for a couple of years. But you've come here to play for this coach. You find out that he's retiring. You also know his son, who's been very involved in your recruitment, but it's different, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so there's a lot of emotion all over the place. You haven't had a chance to sit down probably one-on-one and really talk to Stephen about, what is my role with this team? What do you envision for me? Does anything change at all? Is it status quo? I think as humans, we all are looking for just a little bit of stability at times and some assuredness that the plan that was there for me is still going to be the plan. So once those happen, and you're right, it's an organic conversation that will happen in between them. And once that takes place, that should calm everything down.
Yeah.
But think about that. That's your first day, right? This is your first day on the job. And as we started this podcast, nothing going on here. Slow day, right? Not for him. And it'll probably be like that. It'll probably be some fast days here for the next couple of weeks as they prepare for the season and, assuaging some of these fears and just creating his own identity on this team, right? Like, he's already had it, but now as the head coach, when they call timeouts, he's the voice in the huddle. When, people are barking play calls, it's him now. It's good
play calls too, let me tell you.
You know what I mean? Like, it's going to be different, and it's going to be new for him. It's going to be new for them. There's going to be some feeling out process here. And so I would encourage people to allow room for growth. Now, I'm not saying you should move the goalpost on expectations for Auburn as a program, but just be mindful that people are finding their footing within a first year in a very difficult situation with a lot of emotion being thrown around right now.
I was just thinking about, it's not going to change. It's not going to change.
What's that?
Some official getting their butt chewed out in Neville Arena. That's not changing.
Not at all.
That's not changing. If you're an official and you're doing a game in Neville, you're like, Bruce, Stephen, what's the difference? Like, I'm getting it.
There's zero difference as far as that goes, because both of them have that same look too, man.
It just made me laugh. Because I would watch Stephen over the years, man. He was into it, and the rest would be like, listen, I can't talk to both of you guys.
Yes.
I'll deal with the head coach. I can't deal with you both. And now he's gonna be like, now he's gonna show up. I can't wait for him to show up first game and like a familiar crew, and he's gonna be like, you got me now.
Yeah, him and Pat.
Yeah, because he'd get on. He would get lit up, man. We got some pictures of our photo galleries last 2 years of Stephen like on fire, man. Like on fire. Him and BP, when it comes to competitive nature, coaching in a game, that will look similar. They're different. practice and how they coach in practice. They're different. They're going to be different in front of the media. Very different. Steven is, nobody's Bruce. Nobody's that. And Steven's a very matter of fact, straightforward person. He's not selling you. He's not giving you the politically correct answer in real time. That's just super smooth. And he's just going to be really direct, which will be good. He'll give you some good stuff, but it's going to look and feel a little bit different. But on the court, it's going to look similar. High intensity, effort better be there. Chewing some officials out if need be. Like some of that stuff will be similar.
I do wonder this. I don't think he's ever going to completely deviate.
Technically, that applies to any Pearl family member in the stands as well.
Yes, full stop. Right.
Agreed.
Green light on being able to shoot it from anywhere on the court. I do wonder if that changes at all underneath Steven, because you can see sometimes like the irritation he has with some of that. So that will be interesting to me.
By the way, what was Chad Baker? Surely he wasn't talking about BP. It was like this vague, cryptic.
I hope not, man.
Because let me just tell you, not that Chad's watching this podcast, but if for some reason Chad tuned in, Bruce Pearl saved your life, bro. So I hope that was not directed in a negative manner towards BP or Auburn. Those people put up with so much of his crap that you don't even know. So I saw that on our board and was like, what is he? It was like this kind of thing. It almost looked like he was trying to make a vague tweet of why he left.
That's what I inferred from it.
Yeah, except that, buddy, you tried to come back and they said, no, thank you. It's not happening. You're best to move on. So I sure hope you're not trying to paint a story, Chad, of that's why you moved on, because you didn't want to move on. You wanted to be there, and they said, no, I think we're gonna be good. You want to come back, you can, but we're not changing anything about what we do, and you can take what we offered you. And you decided to leave, but they also kind of said, maybe it's best if we part ways. So anyway, wouldn't play for Steven. It says that Chad wouldn't play for Steven. That's why he left. No, he left because he wanted to change the rules and he wanted to get paid more NIL money after he already agreed to something NIL wise. And then he got his feelings hurt that somebody else got paid more. And he went back to Auburn and said, oh, well, I know we agreed on this, and I know I said I was cool with this, but now I want more. And Auburn goes, yeah, no, we had an agreement. We're good, actually. Take it or leave it. And he left and entered the portal. And then he tried to have conversations with Auburn about coming back. And then that's when they were like, no, actually, we're good. Actually, you're not coming back. You kind of screwed that up now. You're not coming back.
Yeah.
And yes, if it wasn't Bruce and if it was Steven, Chad would have ended up at Auburn. Maybe. He wouldn't have lasted past a year. He wouldn't have made it. Yeah, he wouldn't have made it. He wouldn't have made it. Let's just say that. He wouldn't have made it. Bruce is an amazingly loyal coach.
Yes. I would say probably some of his efforts with trying to connect from a psychology standpoint and far as the mental side of the player and trying to get the best out of them while tolerating some of the acting out that happened at times, specifically with Chad. But I mean, I think there are other characters that have been through the program. Obviously, KD is one of my favorites.
KD had a shout out to BP today.
He did.
Thank you. Thank you.
Which I thought was huge, right?
Uh-huh. That'll be different. I mean, the culture in that way, that'll be interesting. I mean, there's the expectations will still be there of what you're accountable for on the court, how hard you're going to play. But BP definitely thought of himself as the underdog. He was okay taking a guy with a little attitude, if he's a good athlete, you saw some of that. I mean, you saw some, not just Chad, KD. Look, Wendell was not always the best teammate. Alan Flanagan was not always the best teammate. And Bruce gave them tons of leash. And look, a lot of wins and all that. But that'll be interesting to see. I would say on those kind of things that him and Steven and Bruce were not always on the same page. So that will be interesting to see if you have any of those type guys that are like good athletes and they mean well, but they're a headache, and you're gonna have to babysit them. And Bruce was okay with that because he was okay. He knew he was okay handling it. Like, he could kind of compartmentalize, like, I don't really care that they're acting kind of crazy. I just care if they do like these few things. Somebody else make sure they get to class. He'd just do these few things, and he could kind of let some of the other stuff slide. Whereas Steven's not quite like that. He's not gonna, I don't think, just be able to let a bunch of stuff slide as long as like you're giving really good effort in games, but then you're acting like a jerk during practice or something. Like, I don't know if all that stuff's gonna slide.
Right.
So in that way, the culture might change a tad bit. So, what else? Anything else? Or did we get anything?
I think we got everything. I heard Wes Flanagan was coming back to fill Steven's defensive coordinator role.
Doubt it.
Yeah, I doubt that one. I hear you, J Nation.
What did he say?
He said, I heard Wes Flanagan was coming back to fill Steven's defensive coordinator role. So, found that to be humorous, given how that went.
Yeah. So yeah, I don't know, man. We'll see. I mean, the crazy thing is, like, the season's about to start. They're just gonna kind of roll into it. Like,
yeah,
I don't think it's I think it's surprising to the guys that he is, but like, when you're in practice, it's gonna look and feel similar to the players. And so, I think be nice to get a couple big wins in non-conference, though. For Steven and for the players to go, okay, we believe in you. Steven believe in himself, and we believe in you. You don't have to win them all. It's a tough slate, but like, go grab you one, maybe two in Vegas if you can. And see what else you can, pull off. Play a close game in Arizona, whatever.
Yeah. Now, look, man, winning builds belief and faith, right? It builds confidence in that what you're doing is the right way to play the game. And if we'll buy into that, we're going to have success. So the more early season wins that they can accrue, the more positive momentum they're going to have going into the SEC season. And again, I think we've talked about that this team has some legitimate talent. Now, they have to have some pieces they're going to gel. Some guys are going to need to develop. Murph is going to have to play real big in the post and stay out of foul trouble, especially early in season. But there's a lot to like about this team. So it's not beyond the realm of possibility for them to get out to a good start by comparison to what you're playing, right? Like, I think people need to keep into perspective. Again, the teams that you just listed, that's a who's who is going to be playing in the tournament this year.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Not the NIT, not the CBI or whatever they call it now, like the tournament. You know what I mean? And probably you're talking about top 5 type seed teams. So this is a hellacious start for Auburn. Again, you're talking about rolling into a season in 3 weeks with a lot of transition right now. A lot of transition and not a lot of transition. That's the other part of this, right? Like, everything is the same with the exception of Bruce. But losing Bruce is a lot. And it's a lot to these kids. It's a lot to the fan base. So I do think that everybody has to have a proper perspective going into this season as far as, level setting expectation. But some of that's going to start at the press conference tomorrow. And that will be to me, that's kind of the first benchmark for Steven. Yes, they've done the video publicly announcing him and everything else, but the first time he's in front of you guys, and it is Steven Pearl, head coach, not associate head coach, not defensive coordinator, not whatever other role he's held at Auburn. That will be different, new, exciting for me as somebody who's a fan of Auburn basketball. That's just interested in a young coach and seeing if he's what I think he is. You know what I mean? There's a lot of, I think we spend a lot of time speculating sometimes about what somebody's capable of. Well, now you're not going to have to speculate anymore. You're going to know here pretty soon. And to me, that breathes a little bit of life into this that I wasn't expecting this year, but that I'm excited to see how it unwinds.
Yeah. I think he'll do well. It's just going to be weird. You're going to be like, oh, it's not BP up there giving you the, the great, polished.
No.
Where Steven's polished, it's just going to be different. You could listen to a BP press conference sometimes and he could get off on a tangent, or he could, whatever. He could give some answers that would, be really inspiring, or
Sure,
whatever it is. And so Steven's just going to be a lot more matter of fact. Somebody asked, the players, you say that the players are used to Steven Pearl practices because he's ran some over the years, or his practice run differently than BP? If so, what? Great show tonight, fellas. No, they're similar. Like the structure of the practices are the same. He just has run them. Now, could he moving forward? He's the head coach. If he wanted to change some structure up, he can obviously do that now. But I'd imagine a lot of it stays the same. So no, the practices in the past have been the same type of practice that they've run. He just has maybe run them. Burgo ran some this summer too, where it was, where he was the guy, like Steven was out recruiting or something, or BP was out recruiting. So it's just hearing that person's voice. Because I'll tell you, like, when BP over the years, when he's there, he is running practice. I mean, you got chiming in, yes, Steven chimes in, or Chad Pruitt would chime in, or Bowman or Bergman. For sure, those guys would chime in if they've got the scout, or if it's, hey, this is what we're trying to do on offense, guys, or this is what we're trying to do on defense, or hey, they'd chime in, yes, but like BP's running the show, and he knows everything. And so that'll be interesting to sort of see behind the scenes if Steven takes that, or Steven kind of like leans on those guys more, and it's a little bit more collaborative in the practice.
Right.
He kind of steps in and is like, runs the show kind of the way BP would. That'd be sort of a nuance, I guess. All right. Well, I mean, I think we can roll if there's nothing else. We'll be with the basketball show. I mean, not too long, I guess. Come November.
Yeah.
I mean, we'll probably won't do an exhibition. Maybe we'll do one. Maybe we'll do one after. Maybe we'll do it after the 2 exhibitions or something before the season. Maybe a preseason thing.
Definitely. Yeah. And then I think if we can, the 2 of us, and we can get JG on there as well, that would be great to be able to bounce that around like that.
Yeah. So we'll definitely do that. I don't know that I don't really see a need to come back before the first exhibition or anything. I think we'll come back after the 2 and we can do something like that. But yes, hopefully, and good point. Like, yes, this team does have to believe in Steven. Like, that's going to be a part of this process, is earning each other's trust a little bit. That's going to be part of the process. All right, go to Auburn Sports. See all the good content. I'm going to try to get that roster insider done and try to get it up in the morning. A lot of good stuff. I've got some thoughts on every guy from talking to a handful of people. So hopefully I should have some thoughts on every main guy, even a Blake Mushalek reference.
Ooh, I like that.
How about this little tidbit? Blake Mushalek, best on-ball defender on the team.
Whoa.
Is that good? Are you like that? Was that good or bad?
That's good. That's good. I'm a Blake Mushalek fan. Okay. I think he's underrated. So
he's a good player. I talked to somebody that said they said you can ask Denver, you could ask Miles last year, like, who they didn't want to be guarded by, and it was Blake Mushalek.
I believe it.
Yeah. Yeah. So if he keeps playing well, he'll play. I mean, he'll have a chance to actually get in the game. But anyway, all right. Well, let's go, man. Thanks for joining me.
No, thank you for having me, man.
Yeah. All right. This will be up, and I guess people can go back and listen to it. Appreciate everybody joining us, and we'll catch you at auburnsports.com.